So if you haven't heard, recently Meta just dropped the price on the Meta Quest 2 to $200. Now I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the past there was a time where this was $200 and then they raised the price. But recently, a lot of people have been jumping into the Meta Quest 3. The Apple Vision Pro has been getting a lot of attention, but this is still selling very well on the Meta site. Now, I'm going to talk about a few reasons why I think the Meta Quest 2 still has a place. And the first thing, and I think what may be the most obvious, is that at $200, it's a great entry level for anyone who's trying to get into VR. Most of the apps and the games that are compatible with the Meta Quest 3, you can play on the Meta Quest 2. The Apple Vision Pro is starting to get some games, but it's not really a gaming headset. It's productivity. It's focusing on doing things in the workplace, and you can't really compare a $200 or even the $500 Meta Quest 3 to a, I think, what is it, $3,800 headset. So I think just price wise and compatibility wise, that's one thing that's just really cool. There was a time where a lot of companies were kind of selling these headsets that you would put your phone into, that would allow you to kind of have that kind of entry level experience, but no one's doing that anymore. These are so cheap that on a random weekend, if you decided you wanted to like buy a toy or something, I think this is a great space. I would say this is the Xbox Series S to the Xbox Series X, where, like I said, you can do almost everything, I won't say everything, that you can do on the Meta Quest 3, you can do on here. It has the pass-through. Now, pass-through is not as great. Here, it's kind of like black and white, really grainy. The pass-through on the Meta Quest 3, from what I've seen, is amazing. Actually really similar to the Apple Vision Pro for just a fraction of the price. But yeah, the next thing I want to talk about, you'll see here, we have a USB-C port. And I don't think your day-to-day consumer thinks about what this kind of allows, or what kind of compatibility this allows you to have. So if you don't know, you can buy a USB-C cable. You can buy the link cable that's made by Meta, but if you find the right cable, you can plug this into your computer and you have access to, if I'm not mistaken, the full Steam VR library. So you go from having kind of like these limited kind of gimmicky games, and now you can play Half-Life Alyx, some of the Walking Dead games. It just really opens up the library and the experiences that you can have with this. On the productivity side, a lot of the productivity apps do still work with the Meta Quest 2. You have a little bit more power in that Meta Quest 3, and that pass-through kind of lets things be a little bit more natural, and you can kind of you can be immersed in VR or AR and then still have the awareness of the things going on around you. The last thing that I kind of want to talk about are the partnerships that Meta has kind of made, and most namely Xbox. So recently, Xbox has talked about, or has put Game Pass on the Meta headsets. Now, I tried that out. I think it's still in beta, but it's kind of an edge case scenario. If you're a person that has a TV, has a monitor, it doesn't necessarily make sense to play Xbox in VR. But this opens up just another screen where you can experience Game Pass without a console. So if I want to pay $10, $15 a month, I boot up the Meta Quest. I don't need a TV. I don't need an Xbox. I don't need to buy any additional games. I have hundreds of games at my disposal and I can play them here in my VR headset. And if you're looking at like a child or someone who doesn't really care about that higher fidelity of the Meta Quest 3, I think this is a perfect entry point. $200 and either an additional $180 a year or maybe like $10 to $15 a month, and you have access not only to a ton of VR content, you also have access to a ton of games on Xbox. So at $200, this may be the best value when it comes to VR and gaming and technology. So if you've been kind of holding off, I held off maybe a year or two before buying a Quest, and I think this is a really good time if you're just trying to experiment in the space to grab one of these. $199, permanent price drop. I will leave a link below to where you can grab one. I don't have any affiliate links or anything like that. But actually, if you're really into VR, go over to a friend of mine YouTube channel, The Construct. He talks a lot about the different applications that are coming out for the Meta Quest 2 and 3. So definitely some cool videos over there. And for more gaming and tech discussions, stay tuned to True Nerd. See you next time.